This is KGW News at 5.
We begin with an update here at 5 o'clock as friends remember 4 people killed in a Salem crash last week. Good evening and thank you for being here with us. I'm Galen Etlin. A man is accused of driving while drunk and crashing into a homeless camp. A small group of people went back there for a memorial this weekend. And our Christelle Kumwe shares those moments.
Saturday was a very emotional day for people who knew the victims. The camp where they were killed is now gone, cleared by ODOT in a sweep that was scheduled before the crash. Now, just flowers mark the spot. Flowers sit at this site of so much pain and sadness.
I don't have all the words for it. Okay? I mean, you're here one day and gone the next, you know? And it's really heartbreaking.
A small group gathered here near Front Street and Division in Salem to remember their friends.
And this right here is a tragedy.
4 crosses show the names of each victim: Joanne Beck, Luke KG, Rochelle Zamacona, and Joe Posada III.
Joe. I need Joe.
It's still hard for Darcy to think about him gone.
He just smiled and he laughed. He was
4 people were killed and 2 others hurt in the crash at the end of March. Police say a drunk driver careened into the camp around 2 a.m.
Yeah, people drinking and driving. That is wrong.
The accused driver, Enrique Rodriguez, appeared in court Monday. Prosecutors say his blood alcohol level was more than 3 times the legal limit. His charges include 4 counts of manslaughter in the first degree.
Terrible. It's not fair. They just need to get more housing.
If we had a safer place to go, then this wouldn't have happened.
ODOT cleared the camp soon after the crash. Many here forced to pack up.
I relocated to a different area, and I'm not saying.
Homeless advocates say more than 1,000 people sleep outside in the Salem area, but the city is short about 500 shelter beds.
I'm on a list. They said it could be over a year before I can get a place.
Until then, Darcy plans to move from place to place seeking safety.
I try really hard. I do little, I'll clean somebody's house or something. I do that. It's hard to get a job when you can't take a shower every day.
This is just one camp cleared by ODOT in Salem this week as part of an ongoing effort to keep people from living close to state roads. In Salem, Christelle Kumwe, KGW News.
A tough story, Christelle, thank you. In Portland, police are asking for your help to track down the person who shot a teenager today. Officers responded to 6th and Broadway and found the 14-year-old bleeding. They applied a tourniquet until paramedics arrived and took that victim to the hospital. The teen is expected to survive. The person who shot the victim took off, though, before police could get there, so anyone with information is asked to contact Portland police. A Portland officer is recovering from a chain reaction crash involving 5 cars on the Banfield this morning. Police were on their way to a different crash on I-84 near Northeast 33rd. The officer arrived and called a tow truck for that crash, but about 10 minutes later, he said someone crashed into the back of his car. The officer and a passenger from one of the vehicles were taken to the hospital. Both are expected to be okay. All right, let's get a look now at the situation in Ukraine. The country says its forces are pushing Russia away from the capital of Kyiv. Ukrainian troops are cautiously moving into the area surrounding that city. Today, soldiers used cables to pull bodies of civilians off the streets, fearing Russia set booby traps before leaving. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky accused Russia of creating a catastrophic situation by leaving mines around homes, abandoned equipment, and corpses. It is not clear where Moscow is sending troops now, but there is evidence of soldiers gathering in eastern Ukraine. And speaking of eastern Ukraine, the Red Cross is trying for the 2nd day in a row to send vehicles and at least 10 buses into Mariupol to evacuate civilians. The vehicles turned around yesterday because of security concerns, and they are not expected to reach the city until tomorrow. The war-torn city has been surrounded by Russia for weeks, and food, water, and electricity have been cut off. People can only leave the city by vehicle, and people trying to escape say Russia is hunting Ukrainian fighters. There are reports people are being stripped and looked at for signs of firing weapons or other marks of war. And new today, a Ukrainian negotiator says a draft peace treaty between Ukraine and Russia is actually almost done. In an interview on Ukrainian TV, the negotiator said the draft is advanced enough for direct talks between Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin. They said it is likely such a meeting could take place in Turkey. Now, through all of this, the war in Ukraine is displacing people and, of course, devastating families. Portland-based Mercy Corps is expanding its humanitarian efforts to help, and our Tim Gordon spoke with a leader who just returned from Ukraine.
More than 5 weeks since the start of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the scenes of war are still developing. Ukrainians are still dying.
My team and I crossed over from Poland into Ukraine. We were in that western part of Ukraine, went first over into Lviv.
I spoke with Mercy Corps' Senior Vice President of Programs, Craig Redmond, who just got back from spending a week in Ukraine. He said there was no lineup going into the country.
But going the other direction, you just see hundreds of people. And the really amazing thing is you see lots of grandmothers and mothers with children and no men. So you see that, you get that sense of fractured families.
Redmond traveled to several cities in west and southwest Ukraine before exiting the country into Romania. The violence was limited there, but western Ukraine is full of millions of people who have escaped the war raging to the east.
I saw the clear signs of that when I was there, because when you're in these western cities, they just feel packed. And you get a sense of, the burden that places on infrastructure and resources in those cities.
Redmond says 4 million refugees have escaped to Poland and Romania, but as many as 8 million are displaced within Ukraine. Others are stranded in cities under siege.
And those people can't get out. And so Mercy Corps, along with our Ukrainian partners, are doing everything we can to get emergency assistance into those places.
That includes delivering food, medical, and other supplies, and cash to help people survive their journeys out of the war zones. Redmond says working with locals is key to Mercy Corps' success, now and when the rebuilding can begin. As for the Ukrainian people,
so gracious and so committed and so strongly believing in that Ukraine is going to make it through this and come out stronger on the other end. It really is moving and a powerful thing to experience.
Tim Gordon, KGW News.
Mercy Corps now has teams working in Poland, Romania, and Western Ukraine. It has people assessing needs elsewhere in conflict zones as well. Now you can go to kgw.com/Ukraine for more localized and big picture war coverage, including how to help Mercy Corps and other humanitarian organizations. A local volunteer is working to address racial disparities and malnutrition in Portland. Lakita Landford with Afro Village PDX has a small team working on this community farm space on Southeast 139th and Stark. She has a lot of goals with the space and her movement, but the idea really started with the intent to give back to people impacted by systemic inequities. The team is growing healthy foods there, so she hopes can help marginalized communities and people of color become more healthy as well. She hopes to eventually have a food pantry at that site.
Little community grocery store. Again, this is all about a cooperative model, a cooperative sharing of space and community.
She also wants to address ongoing issues of homelessness and be able to provide shelter pods to get people on their feet. You can find more about Afro Village PDX online. A historic theater in Southeast Portland has some new owners who plan to reinvent and remodel the space. After 10 years of ownership by Lonnie Joe and Roger Lee, 6 new owners took over the Clinton Street Theater yesterday. The theater is well known for playing the Rocky Horror Picture Show every Saturday at midnight for the last 44 years. But the owners want to expand the types of movies playing at Clinton Street, and they also want to expand live entertainment options.
Yeah, we're excited to expand our live music offerings. We're excited to do comedy, drag, burlesque, all kinds of different performances. And we'll also do a lot of community events, documentaries, having scientists, professors come out and talk about their area of expertise.
The 107-year-old theater is raising money through a GoFundMe to get new equipment for showing cult classic films as well. The owners say the theater will still have the same dive bar Southeast feel, but they want to get a new projector and speakers. All right, well